Welcome to Rat Salad Review. Today, we are doing the final episode of Kiss, from worst to best. And these are the best three albums by Kiss. As according to Greg, by the way.
Damn right.
What are we doing today, Greg? What are the final three?
Creatures of the Night, the debut self-titled album, and of course, the greatest of all time, which made Kiss what they are, Alive.
I can't believe you threw a live album in here.
It's the exception to the rule.
I know.
You know, Kiss and Judas Priest are kind of similar for me in the fact that, you know, both Alive and Unleashed in the East, they really cemented the power and the sound of the band, you know, and that is a lot of the appeal with Kiss, especially, is the live show. And while I love the studio versions of the songs, they don't have that same energy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know. We've talked about this earlier in the show. I'm not a huge live album fan, but there are some really good versions of the Kiss songs in the live album.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. You want to get to Creatures of the Night?
Certainly. You can go first.
I can go first. You want me to go first?
Well, I needed some juice, is what it was.
Is it gin and juice or just regular juice?
Cranberry juice. I actually haven't had any booze in over a year, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just
Any reason?
Interest in it. Well, I had that stomach ulcer. That was pretty nasty.
I don't want that.
Well, don't eat hot sauce then. By the way, speaking of gin and juice, isn't it funny? The one rapper that is not in trouble with the feds at this point is Snoop Dogg.
Not yet, anyway.
Nah.
He's probably supplying all their.
I think it'll be. Weed's legal now. I think it'll be fine.
Is it legal everywhere? Just about
in Cali, and New York, and Denver. So
that's the only place that matter.
It is in most states. The thing is, though, a lot of states have legalized it, but it still has to be done federally.
Yeah.
I don't think the feds are out screwing with anybody over it at this point in time.
A lot of hoops you got to jump through to get that sold. But go ahead, Greg. This is your show. The final episode of this. Go ahead.
Well, you know, it's funny because worst to best is according to me, yes, but I also ranked it in such a way that coincides with their history, because for me, if I was going to pick my personal favorite studio album, it would actually be this one, Creatures. And it definitely wasn't the first one I got, but I was still only about 12 when I got it. But well, at the time, I didn't have a huge frame of reference because I actually hadn't heard Dynasty and Unmasked and The Elder before that. So I didn't realize they eschewed the pop and the prog rock to go back to this heavy sound. But, you know, they came back harder and heavier here, most definitely. Even Paul Stanley said back in '82, you know, this is metal Kiss. Paraphrasing. By the way, I don't remember what the exact quote was.
I'm sure somebody will let us know in the comments.
Oh, I'm sure somebody will be all upset.
Paging all Kiss tards.
Actually, the comments that we've been getting on these shows have been very good, and someone gave us a compliment, and they liked our show better than one of the higher Kiss shows. What's that name? Two sides of the coin.
I like Michael Brandvold. He's a good guy, and I'm friends with Tommy and on Facebook, and I like Mark, and Lisa's very pretty, and she's cool too. So no beef with the Three Sides of the Coin podcast.
I never listened to it, so I don't know. But
it's pretty good. But I mean,
compliment.
Like they are definite hardcore Kiss fans. They'll admit what they like. They'll admit what they don't like, and they'll make fun of you. They'll make fun of you if you're going to be a tool about it. Like, you know, yeah. Well, why don't you like Ace? They have equal love and equal dislike for all things Kiss. Meaning that if it was absurd, they're going to call them out on it. If it was a good move, they're going to say it was a good move. There's objectivity there. So we like them here at Rat Salad Review. So shout out to Mike Brandvold and the guys. And
it was just a nice compliment that we got from one of the watchers.
Oh, indeed. And actually, I do disagree with them sometimes, though I do like them, which is part of what led to this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not that
Not
they
to,
did a full worst to best, but just some of what they had to say about some of the records.
not to put over my show, but did you by any chance watch the interview I did with Mike? That's a
Yes.
no. Oh, okay. Thank you.
That was a few months back, wasn't it?
That was summer
Probably like a year or two ago.
2022, but I think I aired it in the fall. That's when my poor dog got cancer, but he's 1.5 years free cancer. Cancer
I
free.
just remembered it was a while ago. I just didn't think it was that far back. And yes, wishes cancer free.
Thank you. He's a good little boy. Anyway, that sounded
But-
creepy. It didn't sound creepy in my head.
Well, you said it in kind of a growling way. We'll just pretend you did that voice in honor of the fact that The Howling was released today back in 81.
Wow. Did not know that. Okay.
I love The Howling and Joe Dante. I was actually watching Piranha yesterday after Jaws.
I'm gonna try to make my
That's
room look like I'm in the
kind of irrelevant to Kiss.
All right.
Gonna
Back
do
to
what?
the kiss. So thank you to everybody who's been complimenting the episodes. I promise it'll get we'll try to have more good content for you, which I think we have been giving you good content. And this was Greg's brainchild. So thank you, Greg.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't all because of disagreeing with some of what they had to say, but also, Kiss was ending. I thought that was super important. And a lot of the listen stuff I would see out there, even ones from fans, and yes, Kiss tards, as some of them definitely are, there just seemed to be so much sway towards the albums that aren't necessarily the most popular among fans, but definitely sold the most. And I don't know, it just kind of seemed disingenuous to me. A lot of them that are out there, especially in these magazines. And I was like, you know what? Let's do a good one that looks at it objectively.
Well, I think I know what the problem is. People have a tendency of thinking that popularity equals good.
Yes.
I'm like, are you going to tell me William Hung's cover of She Bangs was good because it was popular?
You might.
Wayne, what's with the Ace Frehley backlight back there? What's going on?
Well, I was trying to make it look like I was in the Creatures of the Night album cover.
I don't see your eyes, dude.
Yeah, I know. I did. I got to work on the lighting. Go ahead.
You need to get some like
I have
Matt
a
Hardy, what Jeff Hardy type fluorescent paint. That'll work.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'll be right back.
Oh God Almighty.
Oh, come on, man.
But Greg, what were we saying before we interrupted?
Well, yeah, before we were screwing around with all this and Wayne showing off his World of Warcraft lighting.
This is my.
He's a not elf mohawk.
This is more like a teenage girl YouTube channel lighting.
Kind of.
You better not start punching people in the face while driving and live streaming, Wayne.
You just gave me an idea.
Whoa. He's over there mining stuff to craft with and crafting stuff to mine with. And he probably wrote the game too.
I did.
There
There we go. That's a little.
I'm
better.
Wayne Noonan. I'm a night elf mohawk.
Night elf mohawk. That is awesome.
Back to what we were saying.
Yes, Creatures of the Night. This record blew my mind when I first heard it. I probably had 5 or 6 already, and not just that it was one of the ones I got early, but this is one of their strongest sets of songs. And even though, yes, they do use session players, but we should all know that is how it goes with Kiss at this point. Michael James Jackson does a great production job on it with bringing everything together, though. And this is just hard, heavy, and in your face, but it does still sound like Kiss. But it's definitely a newer Kiss, a step in a different direction, not a kiddie direction or as ambitious as it was, alienating to the fan base like The Elder, but actually growing and moving forward and working with their strengths as a band. And a lot of that definitely due to Vinnie Vincent coming in and Eric Carr as well. His big drum sound, his John Bonham style of playing is a huge part of the direction they went in. it's just a shame they didn't keep putting out quality songs this good throughout the 80s, because if they would have stuck with the sound, I think they would have been even better than Animalize or Asylum. I think it would have turned out real well for them. I mean, you get some of it on Lick It Up, but this is
Not
like
like
Kiss
this.
Reborn, essentially, like Heaven and Hell was for Black Sabbath. This isn't so much a comeback album for them as I feel it's a leap in a different, equally good direction. And if you would have asked me when I was 12, I would have, well, okay, when I first heard this, I didn't fucking know it was Vinnie Vincent. I mean, I had the remaster, but it wasn't
Oh.
exactly super clear as to who played on which songs.
Yeah.
I ended up finding out about him that summer and all that. But the guitar work on here is like, wow, this is the best Ace has ever sounded, But while I might have thought Vinny was better, than I have to say, I really don't think he's better for Kiss than Ace necessarily, but it is a very interesting, different direction. But
Ace was in the I Live It Loud video, though, right?
he was in the video. He also did a couple small promotional shows with the band, but he had no interest in playing. He was in that car accident in that DeLorean. Was that the end of 81 or early 82? Either way, that happened.
It was between Elder and Creatures, so
Yeah, I know it happened before they recorded the 4 tunes for Killers. It was like right after those Penny Lane sessions, because Bob Kulick plays on Killers.
And it's funny because that was the first time ever that Paul told Bob Kulick, don't play like Ace, play like yourself.
Yes.
Which if that's not a sign of the beginning of the end, I don't know what is.
Yeah, and it works kind of awkwardly on a couple of those tunes.
No, but I will say that the solo that sticks out the most in my mind was the one that he cut for Nowhere to Run, which I think is the best song of the 4.
Nowhere to Run and I'm a Legend Tonight are the ones I really like. Partners in Crime is okay. I could live without the
Down on Your Knees.
I
said it for you.
Motley Crue stylings of Down on Your Knees.
It's better than anything Motley Crue ever did, though. We can say that.
Yeah, but Down on Your Knees, Love in the First Degree is pretty damn close to I got one more shot, then I'm out the door. 10 seconds to love. Let's all repeat this while Nikki plays his bass for the next 2.5 minutes for no fucking reason.
Who co-wrote that one? It was Bryan Adams.
Really?
Yeah, which is funny because he co-wrote War Machine.
Yeah, that's definitely weird.
Bryan Adams was the original member of Severed Angel. You can't pigeonhole it.
No, and then oh man, Rock and Roll Hell is originally a BTO song. I mean, it's completely reworked here, but still.
I didn't realize how many different people were on this album. Like you said before, there's always somebody different on there. Some people I haven't even heard of. Robin Ford.
Robin Ford. He's a blues guitar player.
Yeah. Now he actually did play the full lead guitar on the songs. The credits are kind of weird about this, but one, I have that box set, and then I've read a bunch of Kiss stuff over the years. And Steve Ferris from Mr. Mister, who they did consider to have as Ace's replacement at first, but they felt he didn't fit in, and I think they were 100% correct there.
Well, he couldn't sing, but to his credit, if they didn't need him to sing, he would have gotten the gig, according to Paul. According to Paul,
I mean, that's what he says now, and that he didn't have the right look, blah blah blah. Yeah, they've said a couple things over the years,
but as a guitar player, I thought the work that he did on that song, chef's kiss.
Well, the thing about that is he only plays the solos and a couple of fills.
Correct.
Most of the guitar playing on that tune is actually Adam Mitchell.
It's not Paul?
He only does some of the rhythm guitar.
According to this is Wikipedia, so you only take it with a grain of salt. But additional guitar and end lick on Creatures of the Night is Adam Mitchell.
Yep.
And bass is Mike Porcaro of Creatures of the Night. Jimmy.
That's-
Yes,
That's from Toto.
because,
Yep.
Diana Ross left Gene and he refused to play on a couple of the songs, and Michael James Jackson was pretty pissed. So he called up Mike, Jimmy Haslett, a couple other people to come cut the bass on those tunes.
See, and I was
That's
going to say, this
insane.
is some of the finest bass playing ever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he
I
did
realized
Danger.
it wasn't Gene.
Only on some. Jimmy did Danger with the bass. So there's only 2 songs with bass by somebody else, apparently.
Yeah,
No,
Jimmy.
there's 3 altogether. Somebody else plays the
Mm.
bass on I Still Love You.
I think it's Eric.
Eric Carr, drums, percussion, bass on I Still Love You.
Yeah, yeah.
And in case
And-
anyone's curious where Jimmy Haslep's from, he was in Blackfoot with Michael Bolton and Bruce Kulick. And he later was known for being a very high in demand fusion jazz bassist. He was playing with Alan Holdsworth for a while, him and Virgil Donati, that lineup. So
The Yellow Jackets. Says
don't know
right
anything
here.
about the Yellow
That's
Jackets.
what it says. Yellow Jackets right here. And then Steve Ferris on Creatures of the Night 2, lead guitar.
Yep. Yeah. And there's 3 songs on here where Vinny actually plays all the guitars. Saint and Sinner.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna see how good you are because I got the cheat sheet right here.
War
Killer.
Machine.
Nope.
No, Killer, though.
Mm,
I'm
yep.
pretty sure.
Well, one more.
And I Love It Loud.
Yep.
But he did do the solo on War Machine, didn't he?
He did.
Oh, he plays lead on War Machine, but he does all the guitars, rhythm, and lead on those 3 songs.
Interesting.
And I mean, it really gives it a different dimension. Although it's mixed well. It's not like Paul's on this song and then it switches to Vinny and oh my god, this is so out of character from the other 2.
Vinny's very relaxed on this album, I think.
He is. I really think success screwed with him a little bit as he went on, and he just couldn't self-edit anymore because he's great on this record and he's not so uptight in his playing style either. But I mean, I still love his solo stuff and look it up. But
Agreed.
I
He's
Vinny
think
not
that's the
Vincent.
overplaying.
best he ever did here.
Vinny
Yeah.
Vincent is the Amanda Bynes of the 1980s.
I
You
would have
poor
never
child.
thought to make that comparison, but sure. But anyway, yeah, I mean, everything comes together great here. Total 10 out of 10 album. I love every song. And you know, this is something a buddy of mine, Darren, who's a real big Kiss fan, even bigger than me as well. We were talking about the one day. You know, it doesn't bother me that it's just Paul and Gene only singing on this record. Although I do wish they would have let Vinny or Eric sing a tune. But
And Vinny even sing though?
yeah,
Yeah, he can.
I never
The
heard him
Warrior
sing.
demo is him singing all the songs. So
Oh.
the demo versions of Back on the Streets, Boys Are Gonna Rock, and all those other songs that he did with Vinnie Vincent Invasion and Kiss,
Hmm.
that was his voice. He can actually sing very well.
yeah.
And Eric Carr's a good singer too. So
He
Yep.
is.
But anyway, I think it came out perfect with just Gene and Paul though.
yeah, it wasn't missing anything. It's like, of course, you miss Ace and Peter, but honestly, I don't think they would have fit. Ace maybe would have fit on a song. Peter, no, I don't see a song he would have fit on this album.
Well, Ace did
Singing
record a
wise.
cover of Rock and Roll Hell on one of his Origins compilation CDs. No, that wasn't a Freudian slip for the presidential election. It just happened that way.
Oh, I was thinking mandarin oranges, but yeah.
That's where I was going to do, but I obviously knew how to do
Well,
it.
food motivated.
But he did a good version of it.
So I'll have to check that out.
That's the only tune I can see him singing on this, honestly.
Who,
Yeah.
Ace?
Yeah.
Possibly. Although it's very far removed from the Spaceman character. But then again, I don't think any of the songs on here would have been fitting for the Spaceman character. But yeah,
Mhm.
whatever.
Eh,
Wayne, what do you think?
Album sucks. Let's go to the next album. The debut.
What?
Yeah, this is garbage. This album. I can't believe you ranked it so high. What's the matter with you? Are you
Oh,
deaf?
I'm ranking it higher, Wayne.
This album is, oh God, one bad song after the other.
What?
He's
Psych,
totally
April
fucking with you.
Fool's Day. This was one of the first Kiss albums I owned after Revenge. I always remember seeing that I Live It Loud video on MTV. I really like that song and still do to this day, as it's one of my top favorite Kiss songs. Also, another favorite of this album would come from watching wrestling in ECW when Taz became the human suplex machine, and he changed his theme song to War Machine. I still didn't own this album yet at the time. What?
I forgot about Taz.
Yeah. No, you sidetracked me here. I still didn't own this album yet when I heard it, but it just gave me more incentive to want to own it, because now there was two songs that I really liked, and I could only imagine what the rest of the album was like. And when I got it, I wasn't disappointed. When I finally got the CD, but I got the one with the Bruce Kulick cover with the no makeup.
Me too.
Ugly cover. And
That sucks. That
yeah.
remix is terrible.
Those zebra pants. Those zebra
so
pants.
stupid. And then I didn't even know like the original album cover, the blue one, existed. I had no idea. Like I never saw that before until the remasters came out.
I think the only reason why they re-released it in '85 was just to bring it new attention with the current lineup.
Because I remember I think the I Live Loud video was playing a lot more for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, I don't remember that
wrong.
far back in '85.
I could be wrong. I could just be thinking a totally different thing. I don't know. Don't pay attention to me. I'm an idiot.
The first time I saw that video was on Beavis and Butthead in '93.
Really?
Yeah.
You were late into metal, so.
No, I was not late into metal.
Yeah,
I was late into Kiss. There's a difference.
All right, whatever.
I'll go to hell. Anyway, continue.
But the first song, Creatures of the Night, I was just like, holy shit, this album is one of the greatest things I've ever heard at the time. And it stays that way pretty much the entire album. Saints and Sinners is very repetitive, but Gene's vocals really keep the song going. Keep Me Coming is my least favorite song on the album. Paul Stanley singing in the chorus is really annoying. But I make fun of that song. I can listen to it, but it's just too much.
That's his worst Robert Plant impersonation.
Yeah,
that's what I call
thank
it.
you. That's what that reminds me of.
His inflection with the lyrics too just makes it sound like ridiculously over the top. Like if Roger Corman was going to do a Kiss song, it would be "Keep Me Coming." I still love it, but I totally understand what you're getting at.
Yeah.
I just picture
Keep
Paul
coming. It's like, all right.
I just picture Paul doing like the pelvic gyration in front of some like
that's what I see in my
girls.
head.
I picture him putting his
like you're
hand
under
up
arrest
against the side of his head like this and pushing his butt out into a girl like that. Keep me coming.
Sir, you realize you're self-flagellating. Oh no.
And then when it ends, he just suddenly bursts into Gloria.
Jeez.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. Thankfully, Gene saves the album with Rock and Roll Hell. Again, another slow song like Sinner and Saint, but it's great. Another good song, Danger, picks up the pace again. I Still Love You. What a great ballad. I didn't really pay much attention to it when I originally heard it on his album, but when they played the MTV Unplugged version, then the song clicked with me, and I've liked it ever since, and it's one of my top favorite Kiss ballads. And I also remember there's a comment on one of our videos from Scott Mays. Hello, Scott. He said that he never could enjoy that song.
Really? That's too bad, Scott. That's my favorite Kiss ballad, actually.
I think Ralph Vieira also said the same thing. Like he loves the studio version, but when they try to do it live, I don't think he liked any of the versions that were available up until the Unplugged, because he says, when he tries to do the R&B type, like right before they go into the final chorus, he's like, that kills it for him every time.
Yeah. That Unplugged version was just it was just really cool to hear that. What did I say? Also, I said everyone has their own tastes, and he said he's even in the minority with that statement, which I think is true, because I never hear anybody say anything bad about that song. So that's kind of shocked me. I just love how the drums sound on that song too. It really fills in some of the empty spaces in that song because of that echoing sound that the drums have. So I really like that a lot. Killer picks up the pace again for a decent song. Not one I go to often, but it's not a bad song. And War Machine, which I mentioned earlier.
She's insane, isn't paid. She's a killer. Come on, how can you not?
No,
love
I do like it, but just for some reason it's I don't go back to that song that often. It's a deep track off this album. But what I didn't mention was how those opening guitars give me goosebumps every time I hear it. Between just remembering going to the wrestling show and seeing Taz come out to those guitar chords, and it just brings me back memories. And just the way that starts off, those guitar chords, I don't know, it's just really heavy and it's very catchy, and I don't know, it just gets you right away. Overall, album is really heavy, not just in songs, but overall sound. This isn't 70s Kiss. This is a more heavy metal Kiss. And I think Greg picked a good spot for this album. So I do like this album. I love this album, Greg.
Me too. It's one of the best of all time. Why else would I have bought the box set?
No, I got it too. That's the best box set they've released so far.
I agree.
I was very disappointed
with the vinyl one though. I got the CD, but I wasn't paying $600 for that.
No, I don't think anybody else is either, because now they just put up a contest to try to win the box set. So they're so I think they have a little.
What's the CD box that go for like 200?
Yeah,
something like that. 250.
Some maybe. Box sets are just. I'll listen to it on iTunes. I have my Black Sabbath box sets. I'm good.
It's a really cool box set, though. It's got a lot of stuff.
$260.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I know, but dude, come on! I just sold one of my Strats. So
I know. I know. It's actually, I think my wife bought it for me for my birthday, so that's how I even got it. So
that's a good wife.
Yeah.
I just traded a ridiculous amount of stuff for the first Blitzkrieg single, so I can't say too much.
All right, Lou. Creatures
this
of the Night
is my favorite Kiss studio album ever. Bought it in '95 with Bruce Kulick and Eric on the cover, so there was no makeup, just something that looked like a rundown city behind them, which in a way was cooler than the burned down city that was on Destroyer. In a way, it's just my opinion. I first heard the songs on Alive 3, and I like the way that they heard on Alive 3, but like any fan, when you discover a band that you end up loving, you want to go back and dig into their back catalog. So Creatures was one of the
album
I think I had second. I think I had Revenge and then Alive 3.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I did.
See, I didn't have Alive 3 first like you guys did. My first exposure to this album was that opening fucking guitar scream on Creatures.
So I went and got it, and I just the way that Destroyer was my foray into Kiss, but this just like this was the swift kick in the nuts that said, okay, you own me. Like that's the way I felt about the title track when I first heard it. I mean, I never heard it. The only time I ever heard a drum sound like that was on the Wasted album, Vices, from Frank Noon, who was the original.
Relation.
Sorry,
no relation.
No relation, right? But he was the original. He was the drummer for Def Leppard on the Def Leppard EP, which they did before On Through the Night. So just the way that it was produced, it's like I think the trick was recording the drums, but just like recording them in the reds. No pun intended.
The mics were
maxed out
inside of the toms.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, like that's how they used to record drums. They used to have the micro. If you ever watch like old music videos and stuff, you'll see the microphones inside the toms. The skins on the bombs were never on, and then they put the microphones up there.
Yeah, there's a reason why drum sounds from the 70s and early 80s sound as good as they do. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I don't know why they still don't do that today. I think that's like the best sounding drum.
Because convenience. That's
I guess so. I don't know. And I would think it would eliminate a lot of bleed from other drums and cymbals too. So I don't know. I actually kind of want to try that.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Sure.
So Creatures just loved it. I think Steve Farris is a phenomenal guitarist. I even like the work that he did with Mr. Mister. I'm a sucker for melody. I like pop music. I don't care. It's pablum, whatever. I ate Enfamil when I was a kid. Sue me. I have no shame. I don't think there's one bad second.
I'm leaving that in.
Please do. Um, I don't think there's one bad song on the album. It's really hard for me to pick my favorite, although for burnout purposes, I'll avoid I Love It Loud, but I still think it's a great song. Man. And Keep Me Coming, I mean, it's the closest I think it get to sounding like a heavy metal Led Zeppelin, but it's better than anything Kingdom Come ever did.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, and of
I
course,
love that song.
Me too. And War Machine,
It's a shame
ECW.
because it's a good song. The chorus. I just wish he would do the keep it coming. I just wish he wouldn't do that because that thing before the chorus, he does some really cool. Paul Stanley does
The
a really
sweet
cool
little innocent
vocal
girl part.
Yeah, like that's a really cool vocal melody thing he has going on there. So it's just the
Doing a little
chorus that
crooning
ruins
there.
it. Yeah, it's just the chorus that ruins it.
Well, what is my favorite song on this album? I can't say because I love again, it's my number one. So I can't say that I have a favorite because to me it's a perfect Kiss album.
Yeah.
And it's one where if I'm making a playlist of hard rock or metal, all 9 songs go on it.
What do you have a least favorite?
Yeah, I Love It Loud just because I'm burnt out on it.
Well, if you weren't burnt out on that song.
It would still be I Love It Loud.
Really?
It's when I was younger, I did not like Satan Sinner. As I've gotten older, I've grown more of an appreciation for it. I think the dark horse on the album is the song Killer. Like, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did because I thought it was kind of, for lack of a better term, dunderheadish, like, a lot of Motley Crue stuff. But I tried to dislike it, but I can't. I think it's probably one of the songs on the album that's the most underestimated.
I think
that's probably the one where Vinny goes off the most, and it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, he does some good stuff on it. And I think what I love about this album, I call this Wasteland Kiss because it's them burning down what they did in the 70s, reinvigorating themselves for the 80s. They had the tank for the stage set. The songs sound like they belong in a Mad Max movie. As we see with Lick It Up, their clothes are all tarnished and torn, and they look like a street band again. They had the Plasmatics on tour with them. I mean, for God's sakes, Wendy O. Williams's WOW album is the Lost Kiss album, since at the time current and previous members were involved with it. So this was Kiss playing metal with a punk attitude, and I loved it. This is my Kiss.
Very good. Very cool. I'll agree. This is such a great album, and I do say the number 2 spot. I mean, I could make it number 1 because the other album, the debut album, it's kind of like neck and neck in a way because I like them both that much.
See, and it was the same for me. And when I did this list, like I said, I was trying to do it objectively, and as much as I love Creatures and the fact that it's my personal favorite and as great of an album as it is, Kiss was originally Ace, Peter, Paul, and Gene getting together, young and hungry in New York City, and that is 100% what the self-titled album is all about.
Yeah.
Even though I had my dad's record originally and I did not grow up hearing Kissin' Time, I don't hate it as much as a lot of other people seem to do. No, they're clearly not as into playing that song as the rest of the album, and you can hear it, but it isn't a terrible cover.
No.
Question: are you now in a black room because you're trying to replicate the first album?
Yes. I'm glad you noticed.
You're a bit sus, Wayne. Anyways, continue, Greg.
Oh, suspect. Got it. Yeah.
It's
But,
all the kids are saying it nowadays.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
kids, shut the fuck up with that shit.
I drive my wife nuts when I do that.
Mine
So-
too.
You kids and your lingo.
Damn kids with your Dan Fogelberg records and your Pac-Man video games.
Fogelberg. I was gonna say Chuck Mangione.
I like Chuck, but that was a line from Basketball. I'm sorry, Greg. Go ahead.
Oh wow. Yeah. Last time I saw that movie was around the time I first got these records. Around the time it came out.
Nice. So
But,
back to the
yeah.
record.
And you know, Creatures has that essence. It is Kiss. It has the essence of Kiss moving forward, but this is Kiss. This is what Kiss originally was, and that's a large part of what makes it number one, other than the fact that the songwriting and the energy is just as good. It's just a little bit different because it's original Kiss.
Yeah. All right, so what?
King Diamond, how do you feel being sued by Gene for your makeup?
Oh, I was very, very angry about that, and this is why my makeup looks like this now. See, it's not as elaborate as the other makeup, but you know, it works. It's a horrible King Diamond impersonation.
Now, King, do
He's got a
you
cold.
also moonlight as Klaus Meine in Scorpions? Wayne,
No.
what accent was that?
No, I don't. Abigail's
California!
calling me. I'll be back.
Oh, I was gonna say, come on, Wayne, you're not gonna take a chance to try to do King Diamond singing "Make It Real, Not Fantasy."
No, I'm not trying that.
Don't make promises your body can't keep.
All right, Kiss debut. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. But it's just great classic rock and roll from beginning to end, man. And it has that dangerous feel, that dangerous sound to it. And Kiss clearly has their own style here, even right down to probably the most other sounding tune on the album, the Love Theme from Kiss, which is the only song where all four members were credited as writers on one tune. But is it a little of its time? Sure, it's got kind of that bouncy 70s jam feel to it, but they sound real in touch with each other, and it still sounds like Kiss. You know, I dig it. It's just this nice little interlude that connects a couple of tracks. But you have albums chock full of classics. Otherwise, I mean, you have Strutter, Cold Gin, and my personal favorite song from it, and my favorite 70s Kiss song, Black Diamond. And as much as I love Paul and Gene, Peter's Wilson Pickett style vocals, when he starts singing on that tune, it's just amazing.
I think it's probably the best Peter Criss song ever, to be honest with you.
I agree. And I mean, yeah, it's dirty, it's raunchy. You know, they were fighting the heat here. They were playing the heat. And it shows, but they were great songwriters too. And ultimately, you know, it stands out. Like, you can say whatever you want about Aerosmith. I'm not saying they're the worst band in the world, but their debut album does not stand out in a way like Kiss's does.
Oh,
You
no, not
this
at all.
This was something different.
Mhm.
It was out of nowhere, and it was, God, what did Paul say? It was young and hungry, and it was gonna rock your socks off. He gives the worst sound bites.
Oh my God, it's so bad. You ever listen to the YouTube things, and they go on for like 2 hours? Ugh.
People.
My favorite one out of all of that stuff, though, was honestly that video Ralph did.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Where he was talking to him doing his live stage banter.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Ralph does great entertainment with Paul Stanley sound bites. This is the best. We love
Yes.
you, Ralph.
Love you.
Funny.
Yeah, and go check it out if you haven't seen it. You will enjoy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's good stuff. And by the way, we just passed the 50th anniversary of this album,
Yes, we did. Back
like
in
a month or
February.
two ago, right? Yeah.
Wow.
And they did not release a box set. Nothing.
No, they are.
They are.
Yeah,
If I
I'm
recall
pretty sure
correctly.
Lou's right, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? When? I've never
Ooh.
heard anything about this.
You'd probably have to go on the Universal Music Group
Yeah.
or Kiss
Are
Online
you sure
to
you
check
didn't
it.
see a
No,
April Fool's joke?
no, I distinct. This was before April, so trust me. When it comes to Kiss and then making money, there's no April Fool's joke.
Yeah, when
Kiss.
they were talking about it back around the anniversary of the record, and
I haven't said a word about it.
swear it's slated for fall or something.
50th.
I think Greg's right.
Well, because we've been talking about this a lot on the Almost Human live show, and we're
Yeah.
all waiting for this debut album anniversary box set, but none of us know anything about it.
If I find something, I'll put it for you in the chat.
I'm looking it up right now. This 50th anniversary Ultimate Collection box set announced trailer. This is December 2nd. I think that's fake.
How could that be fake? It's
not
not April
real.
Fool's.
I know that, but I think it's just somebody wanting that. Or here's something from 2024. But that's not nothing either, though.
Oh, Greg, if it's fake, then we got had.
Yeah, we did.
No, well,
But I mean, with them selling everything,
at least we didn't spend money on
that's a
that like a
pretty
Vinnie
big
Vincent box
deal.
set.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah,
I
because
made that
they
mistake once.
they did
Can't
re-release
believe
it.
I was dumb enough to send somebody $120 for a
No.
cassette box set.
You
that
were?
Yeah.
Oh, Greg,
Well,
I can't talk to you ever again.
I didn't know about the way he was then. I hadn't met him at that point yet. I just really loved his stuff. And, it was an advertisement that came with the Euphoria CD, which I paid for and got autographed. So it seemed legitimate.
And what they did was they did re-release it, but they just made the album. They didn't make a box set. They have a 50th anniversary collection. It's just a bunch of shit you can buy randomly. It's not.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay.
Actually, that isn't completely true. Yes, they're re-releases, but they are all new masters redone from the original tapes. I've heard a couple of them. They're really good.
Yeah. So there
actually Kiss fans, I'll be honest with you. Other than the fact that it's cool to have in the collection, if you're going to go out there for a version, yes, the Japanese ones sound good, but save the money and get those 50th anniversaries. They sound even better.
Really?
Yeah.
The gold edition.
Yep,
oh wait, that comes with a long sleeve, $89. They don't even have like a regular record. That's weird. But the coolest thing that they have is the Kiss X Oxford, or is it 10? I don't know if it's X or 10. Oxford Pennant 50th anniversary banner, $1,500, and it's sold out.
I'll just buy this record. A fucking opening drum riff to Strutter is better than a banner.
Yeah, I don't know who spent that money on that banner and who needs that banner, but you're nuts. But anyway, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Besides all that stuff, what?
This is the album that I had Dress to Kill before this, and now while that production is cleaner and sets them up a little bit more, this was the record that I got that made me fall in love with Ace Frehley's style and sound.
It's funny you say
he shines on this album.
Yeah. It's funny you say you like the production on that one better, or you think the other one's better than this one. I think this one's better than Dress to Kill.
No, I think this album is better than Dress to Kill. I was saying Dress to Kill has a cleaner production.
Right, but I think this one has better, cleaner one than the other one. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I like this production though. For a debut album, at this point in time, and it's sounding like this, kind of blows my mind. Because a couple albums after this, they sound like shit.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm amazed they got, although they did not reach their full power on record like the live show until Alive came out. This is probably the rawest, most energetic out of the first three for sure. And I'm kind of
Yeah.
surprised this got pushed out as a debut album, to be honest.
Right.
It's really raw for the time, and record companies, well, actually I'd say they screw more with people now, but still, it wasn't the easiest putting out your debut album the way you wanted it back then.
But all right, so I wrote anyway. Besides all that stuff that we just talked about, what a great album for a debut. If you heard the Wicked Lester stuff, I'm kind of amazed at how they ended up having their debut album sound like this, because the flutes and the bongos are gone. And it's just straight up stripped down rock and roll, and they did the right thing, because this is one of the best debut albums, and for its age it sounds good to me, even better than the next few albums production wise. Strutter opens up the album with Peter Criss, and right when the guitars come in you can hear the melodies and how catchy the song is going to be. Why did I write Peter Criss? Peter Criss does not sing Strutter.
No, but
With the drums, that's what I meant.
Solo with
that's what that's what I meant. The album keeps going on with another catchy song, Nothing to Lose. I like how Peter and Gene and Paul are singing all together, and how Peter changes it up at each chorus. You got nothing to lose.
Oh, he makes the song for me.
He does. I think that's the best part of the song. Firehouse Cold Gin and Let Me Know Again proved to be really great, catchy songs. It kind of loses me at Kissin' Time, but it's not a terrible song. It's just different from the others and sounds a little out of place.
See, and that's the thing about Kissin' Time, and that's what bothers me about it, especially being I heard it originally without it, because I took my dad's LP before I had the CD, and they didn't want to do it, and you can just tell they don't do a bad job, but that song has way less energy and interest in the band members than the rest of the album. It's odd where they plopped it. I would honestly have preferred to have it as the last song,
as like a bonus track or something like that. Like they did with the And Then She Kissed Me or whatever.
It doesn't sound to me that they're just, I mean, I know that they were disinterested in recording it. I know that they didn't want it released on the album once it got to and it ended up being on the album once Casablanca found distribution through Polygram. Prior it was with Warner Brothers.
Yes and no. Yes, that's how it ended up on the album, but no, it was not recorded at the same time as the rest of the album.
No, I know that.
They were requested to do it. They didn't do it. And then to push sales of the album because it wasn't selling like expected, they had them recorded later, and they added it and did a second pressing of the album in the early summer.
Right. Thank you for the clarification on that. I was aware of that. I wasn't able to verbalize it correctly, but it didn't sound like if they were disinterested, and I know they were, it doesn't sound like it. Like, I enjoy listening to the track personally.
Maybe it's just from the fact that it's from such a drastically different session with a different producer. It just,
Oh, it wasn't Kenny Kerner, like Richie Weiss?
I don't remember. I'm taking a shot in the dark here, but
you're probably right.
Yeah, it does not sound like the rest of the record.
No, it sounds like it sounds like something maybe off of Hot in Hell or Hotter Than Hell or something like that. It's got that weird.
Maybe sound. That's why I like it.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's got that reverb on it.
Yeah, it's weird. Deuce, on the other hand, a great song. Love theme from Kiss. I always skip. 100,000 Years is another good one. And Black Diamond, holy shit, the best Peter Criss song ever. That acoustic intro leading up into the band coming in pumps me up. I just want to break something right now. Thinking about Ace's solo, it's a good solo. The perfect Kiss song to end a great debut album.
Just experience
me getting angry because that song just fucking pumps me up. I just want to break something.
Bruce Banner, take it easy.
Okay.
Resume.
All right, go ahead.
See, that's what the live version does for me.
I know. They play a little too fast though, but it's fucking
it's
awesome
not
song.
Too fast.
I didn't say it was too fast. I said it's a little faster.
The tempo on a live fits the music better than the studio versions. But anyway, go
I like both. I like both. It's
I love both, but Definitive Kiss is must have.
Go ahead, Greek God.
This is my number 6 favorite Kiss
Number
album,
6.
but that doesn't
Oh.
it doesn't take away from the fact that I love the album. I just love 5 other albums more than this one. It's one of the most perfect debut albums ever recorded, in my opinion. I have to admit, I'm not too big of an Aerosmith fan. I like Toys in the Attic and I like Pump, and I like a couple of songs here and there.
I hear you. I like
Blue,
rocks, and that's pretty much it.
Blue Oyster Cults in the 70s, their debut album, perfect debut album. Black Sabbath, 1970, perfect debut album. I wasn't a Stones fan. For me, Kiss was my rock and roll band before Van Halen came out. And I think that the way the songwriting on here, this is a hungry band. The performances on here, this is a hungry band. This is the album that, for me, set off everything. And what I love about it is its rawness. Although I just think it's funny that, and I mentioned this during Hotter Than Hell, I said, it's funny. It's the same 4 band members, the same 2 producers. The debut album was recorded in New York. Hotter Than Hell was recorded in California, but the debut album sounds like a California album, while Hotter Than Hell sounds like a New York album. So it's just interesting, that dichotomy, but it's still a perfect debut album. And some people may be turned off by the production, but I'm like, look, I'm not turned off by the production of the first Iron Maiden album. So because the songs stand out, and that's how I feel about this one. Granted, it's not the loud crunching guitars that you would expect to hear from Alive onward, but so what?
You
So
can't expect
what?
that from when this was recorded, though.
Yeah, and you can't take away the passion, which is what
Yep.
this album has.
And
Strutter, Cold Gin, Firehouse, Nothing to Lose, Deuce, and my favorite on the album, and probably my favorite Kiss song of all time, which is 100,000 Years. Love Black Diamond, but
sorry.
I love that bass line.
oh, yeah.
I used to do that with my brother's bass and put ketchup in the mouth. So what? Lou, why is there ketchup on my bass? I'm like, because I had a burger. Anyway,
I had a tasty riff.
I like the way you think, Greg. But I also do love the love theme from Kiss, because I'm a fan of the song that it came from, Acrobat, which is on the box set. I think that's probably my biggest regret of their career for the last 50 years. I would have liked to have heard a full studio version of Acrobat.
What box set?
I agree.
The one from 2001.
The black one.
Yes.
Okay.
It's called Acrobat, but the beginning of it is the love theme from Kiss.
All right. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's a 6.5 minute song, so they probably couldn't fit it onto a 34-minute record, But regardless, perfect debut album. It's still in my top 10 of favorite Kiss albums, not taking anything away from it.
Fine. Whatever.
No, you shouldn't. It's great. But...
If anybody wants to hate on Lou, please do so in the comments.
Send me a hate mail. Please bring it. I'm the Ben Shapiro of... No, I'm not. A Red Solid Review.
And that brings us to number 1.
The GOAT.
Greatest of all time, the GOAT. Because the debut was number 1 for the studio albums. But... yes, Alive. The full live spectacle of Kiss. Not just a band, but a fucking experience. You might not be there seeing them, but it comes through in the music. And it launched them, really. The first 3 didn't sell all that well. This was the first one to go platinum.
I think without this, do you think they would have really continued to make music?
I think they would have continued, though they may not have hit the heights that they did, only because I think there would have been some kind of gap if Casablanca truly went under and they had to find another label.
Mm. It's with as good as these albums, like those first few albums are. It just blows my mind that the live album really skyrocketed their career. You know, just a live album doing that. Just I don't get it. But
Well, see, you know, the thing about it, and I really understand, especially when it comes to 70s bands and recordings, because um you know, even with Blue Oyster Cult's or Sabbath's debuts, which I consider perfect as well as the Kiss debut, a lot of it is that slower tempo on the studio albums at the times, you
mm,
know. Even though I can recognize its greatness and a lot of other people can, when you get to the masses, you need something pumping, exciting,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
I get it.
because I mean, realistically, you know, people say heavy Beatles. That's totally what Kiss was at first. I mean, it, almost every song on the debut is catchy than hell, should have been hits, but it just didn't have that extra element, unfortunately, to push it up the charts. And I think it comes in with the production, because for as raw as the and youthful sounding or street sounding, that's the term I was looking for, as the debut and Hotter Than Hell and even Dressed to Kill are, they just they're missing that one extra element, and the live brings it full circle and brings you their live experience, because that was the thing. They were selling out concerts at the time. Almost every night was sold out, but the albums were not selling. But then when they reissued the live version of Rock and Roll All Night from Alive, they took off, you know, into the stratosphere. And that's all I really think it is that excitement just wasn't getting through to everybody. And it took taking the live shows and doing what they did on a live to make the spectacle happen. And it's not that anything's bad, but you know, Nugent's another good example. Double Live Gonzo was his biggest album. It's not that the studio albums are bad, but he doesn't have that same kind of intensity on the studio records that he does the
Mm.
live albums.
Peter
Take
Frampton live.
take Judas Priest's
Unleashed in the East.
yeah, but I was thinking of a specific song and now I can't remember what it is.
Victim of Changes.
Yes, Victim of Changes. You know, it's almost the little Doobie Brothers ish with the
Mm.
melody on Sad Wings of Destiny, but on Unleashed in the East, it becomes fully heavy metal. And it's not that the original version is bad, it's just a completely different intensity.
Mm.
Although, well, Priest had the benefit of less Binks by the time they got that far. Kiss had the same lineup.
Mm-hmm. All right, Lou, go ahead. I'll let you go. I don't have much to say about Kiss Alive.
So I think my first experience listening to any songs off Kiss Alive was again listening to 89.5 FM WSOU. Back in '93, there was a DJ by the name of Top Jimmy who played a lot of Kiss and other obscure tracks from them and other bands that I ended up loving. He was on the air from 8 p.m. to midnight. And you know, he did which songs off this did he play? He played Strutter, he played Rock Bottom, and I was like, I gotta get this album because there was just something about the way the songs sounded on a live album that to me just sounded better than they did on a studio album. And you know, I mentioned before, I said they did something right when it came to production and recording in the 70s. And you hear that on, you know, 5 of the best live albums that came out from that time. And Kiss Alive is up there. I'll also give the same respect to Thin Lizzy's Armed and Dangerous.
Live and Dangerous.
Live and Dangerous. Thank you. I don't know where I got Armed from, but yes, I
Anthrax.
that God damn it. You know why? Because I was thinking another song that I heard Top Jimmy play was the cover of Love Her All I Can that Anthrax did with Paul and Gene. So forgive me for that. So yeah, so Thin Lizzy, Judas Priest Unleashed in the East, Blue Oyster Cult, On Your Feet or On Your Knees, and UFO Strangers in the Night. 5 perfect live albums from the 70s that really depict the greatness of that era. And for me, Alive just has, like all those other albums, the best versions of those songs recorded on those albums. And it's the ones that I always go to. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, studio tracks that I do throw on playlists. But if you give me the option of, choosing the studio version of these songs or the live versions of these songs, I'll always go for the live versions,
Oh
you know?
man, when he yells "hit it" in Black Diamond, and you
Oh
hear
God, yeah.
fucking fireworks going off right when he hits
Mm-hmm.
the drums, you can just imagine yourself there. It's magical.
And I think it's why I appreciated 100,000 Years as much as I did, because, you know, when they start the song after Gene's bass solo, quote unquote, and they just kick into it, right, and then they go into Peter's drum solo right after the first guitar solo. It's just, I mean, you can't not be affected by that when you're a kid, like I was at 13, 14 years old, first listening to it and just wanting to approach playing and learning my instrument with ferocity, like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I could joke now about a lot of Kiss's blunders, but I don't fuck around when it comes to the things that they've done right, like Alive. Absolutely not. This is their goat.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can't really add much more to what you guys already said. I didn't really study this out. This is the one album I just didn't get the chance to listen to today to refresh my memory. But yeah,
Like, you don't prefer the version of She on this compared to the
I
studio?
probably do. I just don't remember.
Or "Come On and Love Me." That's another great
Probably,
one.
probably.
I mean, because the tempo's up a little bit here.
I do remember like Rock and Roll All Night. I do remember that one has a lot more energy than the album version, but I like both versions.
Oh,
You know
so
what
do
is?
I.
I like both versions of of all of them. And it's hard to pick. It's really it really is. And but like you said, even with Black Diamond and the way he's yelling, like in there, and then he hits the sticks and all that stuff, and yeah, it's just it's
If
good.
somebody
It's
asked me, what is Kiss? This is the record.
yeah.
I mean, you can't start an album with a better track than Deuce, and
No.
this proves it.
Yeah. And you got the live crowd in the background too, just making it a really cool experience. Did they go back and dub anything on this live album?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah,
A few things, but and they're right when they were talking about it, because some people were trying to give them shit, not so much when it came out, but later on in the years. Oh, it's fake. It's supposed to be live. 100% live recordings don't really work. Even some of them soundboard concerts I have, as great as they sound, there's missed cues, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Microphones fall over, so they
flub
went in,
notes.
took out, fixed some stuff like that, took out some mistakes, and it just makes it stronger. It doesn't mean it's not a live record. It's not like they recorded the whole thing in a studio with fake audience noise. They touched up what needed to be touched up, and it's a better record for it.
And they recorded multiple nights, so Eddie Kramer was able to get the best snippets from each night and put them on the record, which, to me makes it sound flawless. Which, I mean, I could deal with mistakes in recorded music, but, you know, I I want the intensity of it, and this album captures the intensity of those performances
Mhm.
to a T. So
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. So now that this show is over, do you want to summarize what you know about Kiss, like what Kiss has meant to you?
I wasn't planning on doing that, but I suppose I
Just
can.
quick. We don't have to do it for long
Well,
thing here.
so I mean, Kiss was a big gateway band for me, and they're very controversial, especially because of the merchandising and the way they were out there and all that. And I was lucky enough to get into them, not during the original era, unfortunately,
Right.
that would have been the best, but when they were coming back and putting the makeup back on and they were becoming a spectacle again. Because, like Lou was saying, when I actually first saw them and all that was I Love It Loud on Beavis and Butthead. And stuff like that during the unmasked years, and I just wasn't super particularly interested in it. One, because I was about 6, and uh you know, it just didn't jump out at me in any particular way. But it's getting these records. Psycho Circus was coming out. I mean, they were on Mad TV. It was awesome.
They were everywhere.
Yeah, WCW.
WC, I was just
Yeah,
gonna say,
yeah.
yeah.
It was great.
And Millennium with Lance Henriksen.
Yep. And you know, the one thing I always feel when I see people cut on them, no, they did put out good music, you know, and they were not the best musicians, but good musicians and great songwriters. And I feel like a lot of that gets lost and forgotten. But I can also criticize them where they need to be criticized. But they're one of the greatest rock bands ever. And honestly, I'm just going to say it because I've seen them live several times and I've seen old videos, and just the aura and the songs and the image of Kiss, best live act ever. I mean, they nailed it, and they truly deserve the success they achieved. They're a great band, and the funnest thing about doing this is, for their flaws and mistakes, which certainly happen, they never did anything I would truly out and out call terrible or unlistenable. You know, Hot in the Shade is the worst for a reason, full of filler, but it isn't garbage. You know, it's pretty damn close, but they, for all intents and purposes, they are a great band that deserves to be celebrated. And, you know, they truly are legends. And without them, even though Alice Cooper also did shock rock, I don't think live arena shows would have been built up and become what they did.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
think the world owes a great debt to Kiss, and it's not all about merchandising. They're great, and there is legitimate great music there that's going to touch you in your soul. You know, so check them out.
Yeah, I can't agree more, man. I hate when
Yeah.
people say that they had no talent or their song sucked or they couldn't play their instruments, stuff like that. It's like, God, you guys never like seen a live show. You never saw them perform, and I don't understand how somebody could say that about them. Yeah, the makeup thing might be corny to you or whatever, but listen to the music and just to see what they released, and
Ooh, it's 4 grown men in kabuki makeup.
Yeah,
dude,
but
get the fuck
if it-
out of here.
if it wasn't
the
for
first
those-
time I saw that, when they came out and the fireworks, and
yeah,
Detroit Rock City, it was like superheroes came out and did a live show.
exactly. Yep. And if it wasn't for them putting on their makeup, all these black metal bands would have never put makeup on either. You know, it's like
No, probably not.
no,
They,
because
they
who else
still
is
haven't
really
left their
doing it?
snow caves, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You know, they
Well,
started that.
most of
There
them
are
haven't even learned how to play their instruments. I mean, you know.
just a lot of them
A
still
bot's
trying to
pretty
figure
good.
that out. A lot of them are still trying to figure that out.
Yes,
But
and I love Dark Throne, but I mean, Fenriz is about 100 times better. than
Yeah.
most other
and
ones.
not that Kiss ever, did all that kind of stuff, but the imagery, and there was other people that did that kind of stuff, but Kiss is the one that made it famous. And without them, that stuff would have never happened. And for
And
people,
when they were challenged, you know, like people, ooh, Kiss, it's dumb rock. They excelled. Music
Right.
from the Elder, you know, as much as it pisses people off, they played pop and did it great on Dynasty and Unmasked.
yeah,
Now, and actually, it's kind of funny because I have to eat crow a little bit here because a lot of people have said to me, yeah, and I thought it was weird. The one album they bring up where I placed it, well, 2, but I was expecting Unmasked. But hey, man, Asylum should be higher. Still
To whose
don't
standards?
agree. But, huh?
To whose standards?
You know, I think it's because the fans I was talking to about it, my buddies that are super into that era, I think it's because it's when they were in high school.
It's possible.
Because I mean, you know, no, it's not out and out horrible, but still, they were not leaders as Kiss anymore.
it's Chris Jericho's favorite era of Kiss too, is the 80s
Yeah,
period.
Crazy Nights is his favorite album from them.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's just it's weird.
But yeah, I mean,
everybody hears things differently, so
I don't get it, but hey, you know, have at it. But
at least they like Kiss.
a
That's all that
compilation.
matters.
Yep.
I mean, I'll say this. I agree with everything Greg said, but I didn't get to see my first concert until I was 18 years old, and thankfully, I'm grateful that that was the original reunited Black Sabbath with Pantera and Deftones. And a year later, a year and a half later, is when I first saw the original Kiss on what I thought was the farewell tour. So, I
Oh, it
had a
wasn't?
bunch of 2000.
Oh, it wasn't the
Yeah.
farewell tour?
No, it wasn't.
No? No.
Well, it was called the farewell.
It was the beginning of a long 24-year.
It was a farewell. It was a re-farewell to the original members, but
Yeah.
go ahead.
But I had concert video footage of Def Leppard and Iron Maiden, and I love watching them because I was like, wow, they're playing music and they're putting on a kick-ass show. I was like, where do they all get this idea? It's Kiss. That's
Mhm.
what it is. In 94, one of the best birthday gifts I ever got was from my older brother Tony, and he got me the Alive tour VHS on from Detroit in 76 and Unmasked in Sydney from 1980. Seeing what they did then and realizing that this is the band who for live shows set the bar. I mean, they did what they set out to do, and that was to be the band on stage that you've always wanted to see, and it wasn't all just pyro and ballyhoo. The songs mattered.
Mhm.
They were fun. Rock and roll is supposed to be an escape. It's supposed to be fun. I don't give a flying fuck what Tom Morello's trying to do with his bullshit activism. Fuck you, Tom Morello. You're a hack. You're not that good of a guitar player, and I play the kill switch better than you do, motherfucker. So, back to what I was
Rage
saying.
against this machine.
Yeah,
bitch.
fuck this machine. Yeah, this machine kills idiots. That's what it does. Back, what was I saying? Oh yeah.
Killing Tom Morello.
I mean, Kiss is what rock and roll is supposed to be, and I think it's safe to say that everyone is all better for it. There's nothing wrong with expecting a band that you're paying your hard-earned money to see to put on a good show for you, whether it's in terms of their musical talent or their stage performance or the quality of bands that are performing on that show. They set the standard, they set the bar, and we're all better for it.
Kiss is an escape from the real life bullshit that goes on, and like you said, it's just a party, total party.
Rock and roll party.
And it brings those larger than life feelings into you too.
Yeah,
Makes you
yeah.
feel young and just let's go.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for Gene Simmons, Geddy Lee would have never started Rush, and he would have never learned how to play bass. So thanks to
What?
Gene Simmons.
What?
You didn't hear about that?
No.
You never heard about Gene Simmons talking about how he taught Geddy Lee how to play bass?
What?
Oh my God.
That's the biggest bullshit since Gene saying that he invented the wheel.
Man, and I thought that rug was the worst thing he had.
I mean, come on. This is also the Carol Kay, the woman who played bass on all those classic records from the 50s to the 70s. Like she runs circles around Gene. You're gonna tell me that Gene taught Geddy Lee how to play bass? Get the fuck out of here.
Let's see. Here we go. How can I can share this, right?
You found
I'm
something?
not saying I don't.
Yeah, I saw this a
it.
while ago. We talked about this all the time on the other show. Right here. Gene Simmons recalls giving Rush's Geddy Lee a bass lesson. He didn't understand what a blues scale was.
What? Are you
story.
shitting me?
No, I'm not shitting you. Let's see. Let's see, where does this come? Where does he talk about Geddy Lee? Oh wait. Where do you start for someone who's never played baseball? So it's got to be in here somewhere. I don't know.
I'll tell you a story. It said down there.
All right, here.
Kiss
One night
took out
back at
Rush.
the what?
One night back at the
Kiss
hotel.
took out Rush on their first tour. It says up above that they came out to
All right.
support us
Yeah.
because we liked what they did, and this was in the working man period when they sounded like a Canadian Zeppelin. I don't know about that, but which I still prefer Soundwaves, but obviously they've done very well. Yeah, okay, one
Yeah,
night
so
back.
Yeah, one night back at a hotel or backstage someplace, Getty and I were sitting down trading licks, and I said, "Do you want to do a blues scale? You go first, and then I'll continue the chord pattern." He said, "I don't know what you mean."
Huh.
At least from what I recall, Getty didn't understand what a blues scale was or what 1-4-5 meant. That also bears noting that when you go 1-4-5 to musician, that means something. It's a relationship of notes and chords, blah 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 blah. But yeah, apparently he taught Geddy Lee.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
Get that out of my face. Get that out. That's
That's a
my
little
favorite
much
bass
there.
player. No,
Well,
no,
now it's ruined.
no. The Gene Simmons is one of the few times I could separate the artist from the person.
Yeah, that's like when Sammy Hagar was saying they approached him about joining Pantera. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's crazy nights. But thank you guys for watching the
But the
show.
thing about
A
that
lot of
is, you
fun with
know,
this. What?
Gene doesn't need to say crazy shit to stay relevant. For
No.
Sammy, he's just trying to tread back above that water.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. He'll never go away.
I have no desire to see that best of both herniated worlds tour that he's doing. I mean, it would be cool to see Jason Bonham on stage, but no. I'll wait for him to do the Led Zeppelin experience.
It's gonna be a train wreck. Oh, and
I
another
would
Kiss
just
news.
love to hit that ramen noodle haired piece of shit with a bottle of piss.
Greg, I'll hold him. You take a swing. Please miss me.
And before we leave, other Kiss news. It happened last week, but we didn't record then. Kiss sold their share of the music rights and whatever like that. So what do you guys feel about that? I mean, I don't think it matters because it's going to be around forever. But
I'm sure they're laughing all the way to the bank.
I'm sure they are. But I don't know if you noticed, and somebody pointed out on the Spotify, they took down the pictures of the what do you call it? The avatars.
Really?
Well,
yeah, I don't know if it back up. Maybe it's just a coincidence.
Could be.
But I don't know. There's supposedly there's some kind of thing going on with the avatars.
I know what I want them to do with them avatars.
What?
I want them to make Kiss the Ginyu Force from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, the avatars are gone on the Spotify at least. I didn't check everything else, but they are. It's back to
Can't
the
you
original
just
thing.
see Gene coming out? The name is Raccoon and it rhymes with doom because I am the god of thunder.
Any last thoughts?
No, I'm good. But
it's
this
over 9,000.
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Yeah, it went on for quite a long time, but I had a lot of fun. This was
you know what?
It went quickly.
It went quickly, and I have to say, this is one of the most enjoyable ones we've done.
Yeah, I'd say so. I had a lot of fun doing this, and a lot of fun going back and listening to a lot of these albums because some of them I haven't really gave too much attention to over the years. But it's good to hear a lot of this stuff again.
I had as much fun doing this as we did the Halloween series. That was fun for me too, because I admit, Wayne, when it came to Halloween, I really didn't know that much. Yeah. So all that build-up that we did up until the release of the self-titled album that came out in 2021, that was awesome. So this was just as good. Thank you, Greg, for bringing it to our attention. I don't know how we're gonna top this, but let's just continue to have fun with it.
Yeah, we'll figure one out. I mean, we already did Coroner, but there's probably like 4 guys in Sweden and Switzerland that watch that.
But anybody watching, maybe you have some suggestions for us to do. So write it in the comments, and maybe we'll take you up on one of those.
I'm looking forward to one
shout, but I am not doing Poison unless you fucking pay me.
Promise. there is a pay option on here, and we will do.
PayPal open your life at AOL.com.
No, but there is options on YouTube somewhere on here. It says it somewhere. But we will do a show if you want us to do something we don't like.
If somebody wants to donate.
Yeah. If we don't like it, then you'd have to donate it.
I am looking forward to 2 releases coming out in the month of May. One is finally we're getting a box set of the Tony Martin era Black Sabbath albums. not including Eternal Idols. So get over it, people.
Mm.
But remastered editions of Headless Cross Tier, Cross Purposes, and a newly remixed version of Forbidden, which apparently they say should make up for the original pressing, which I didn't hate. It's still a better album than 13.
Yeah.
So there's that. And Severed Angel's second album coming out on May 3rd, Skyward. Go
maybe.
to severedangel.com, pre-order your copy right now, and while you're there, pick up a copy of the first album.
Yeah, please do
Yes.
that because I got a lot left.
Also, don't forget Absalom's new album, The Blood Seed, featuring Wayne Noon, our very
Oh,
own,
Oh wow!
on drums, with Severed Angel and Infinite Spectrum's Alex Rapetti doing production and guitar and bass on this album. So,
And the chick from The Ring is on the cover.
Yeah.
looks like my ex-girlfriend from high school. Anyways,
Oh,
hi Brandy. I know you're not watching.
yeah, actually. Oh no, I already showed the box set.
He did. All fun albums, and yeah, please go order those because we need money. And please hit the subscribe button. Where's he going? What's he getting? What's he getting? Is he getting something cool? What's he got? What?
What do you got, Greg?
Oh well, I gotta turn off my background thing here, but I got that Blitzkrieg single.
One of the
Patiently.
new wave of British heavy metal bands.
Yes. Their very first single on Neat Records, hard as hell to get. I might have traded 3 radio shows for it that are probably worth more, but who the hell cares? Because it's Blitzkrieg.
What do
It's
you
a
mean
story.
3 radio shows?
You remember Metal Shop?
No. Sounds familiar.
The only
Ralph
radio
talks about it
show
all the
with
time.
teeth. Yeah, but anyway, some of those they would press on vinyl at different points and CD too.
Oh, okay. I think I know. what you're
And
talking about.
I've picked up a few of them over the years. Some of them are pretty good. These ones weren't all particularly that great, although I wish I would have looked the values up ahead of time.
Yeah, knucklehead. Since we're showing stuff, I got a new album in the mail today. The new Ravage album. This is called
Oh, cool.
Spider on the World. And I did an interview with Al Ravage, Al Ferracano, or however you spell his last name. I can't remember. But Al's a really cool guy. He was on last week. He's going to be on the radio show, but he's going to be on our YouTube channel, I think, next week. So check that. We talk about this album. They signed it for me. Looks really cool signed because I used a nice
cool.
silver Sharpie pen there. But really cool. And they're only putting this on vinyl. As
I
of
was gonna
now.
say because it's not available on iTunes.
It will be. It comes out on the 19th. I actually got this early.
All right, cool.
Okay, I was gonna say I'd order one of those if I
Yeah.
knew it was,
But
but I didn't think
you
it was
can
out yet. Yeah.
Order it ravagetheearth.com. You can order it there. And like I said, this is a very limited edition vinyl. And they might do CDs, but they're not sure. But get the vinyl. It'll be streaming too, but the vinyl is going to be very, very cool to get. It's actually
Yeah.
2 different color vinyls too. One's red and one's blue. It's really nice looking.
And I think we're gonna have Mark Edwards from Overlord on the show soon, right, Wayne?
Oh yes, at some point, yes, we'll have him on the show, and Bobby Lucas will be on the show because they got a new Attacker album coming out, or it's actually out already. And Ken Pike from Absalon's got to come on the show, talk about the
Nice.
Absalon album.
Looking forward to that.
And yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. So
Yeah,
stick around,
and,
people.
and a big shout out to Munzie Ritchie from Skateboard Marketing for marketing the new Severed Angel album to terrestrial, college, and satellite radio. So thank you. And check out 97 Underground this weekend. Evil Scott of Zombie Ritual Radio is going to be playing.
Well, this
at
show is
least-
going to air like after this weekend, so
Well, it doesn't matter. Go
Just
watch,
listen
go
to
listen to
97
97 Underground and check out Evil Scott and Zombie Ritual Radio. We love them.
yeah, he
That's
helps
right.
us out a lot. So
Hey,
I think
Evil
we got all the
Scout's
plugs
great,
out.
man.
I think that's it. And everybody hit subscribe. Let us know what you like, how you like the show in the comments. Join me on freeworld.fm on Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. And I think that's it.
I'm bringing it back. Demone.
All right. Until then, guys, goodbye.
Come on and love me.
Keep me coming, coming, Come in.
Cut
Come
it off. Cut it off.
in. Goodbye.
Wow.
Oh wait. Ah!
Gene's brother was an only child.